Think your 9 to 5 is secure? You're actually wrong. Today, I'm exposing the gold mine that is video production and how you can actually escape your normal 9 to 5 handcuffs, if you will. You might feel secure, but you're actually having a ceiling to your earning potential. The fun part about quitting your 9 to 5 for freelance video editing is, in theory, and I will specify in theory, there is no ceiling to your earning potential, but there's also no floor, meaning you could absolutely earn zero and you could earn $5, $6, $7, $10, $20,000 a month. There's no ceiling and there's no floor. So keep that in mind. The freelancing kind of career is better for some people, right? And it's actually much worse for others. And that's absolutely case by case. Some people have a bigger risk appetite and more tolerance to give something some time until it works. Other people are, for lack of a better word, afraid of taking that risk, and they'd rather go and settle for, yes, a ceiling on their earning potential, but also no floor, meaning they know exactly where they're going to get every single month. And it's more predictable. Freelancing can be predictable. We're going to break down how to make it predictable. But in theory, like I did say, there also could be some tricky times ahead for certain people. So if you're going to swap your 9 to 5 for a freelance video editing career, we need to go ahead and draw a line in the sand and figure out if it's going to be worth it for you. So we're going to base this off of the UK, where I'm in right now, and America, where I was born, so two of the bigger freelancer marketplaces. And we're going to go ahead and talk about first an average salary that a normal job, a 9 to 5, if you will, would get you in those countries. So let's go ahead and have a look. If we're in the UK, where I am right now, about 30,000 GBP is the average salary. That's what an average employee is going to get paid. If you're in America, it's a little bit higher. It's $50,000. So if you do the conversion, they're about the same. But 50,000 US, 30,000 GBP in the UK is what an average salary is going to give you. That equates to about 2,500 GBP a month, or about $4,000 a month. That's what we're trying to beat here. Ideally, if we're looking to, leave our 9 to 5 for a freelance career, it should, at minimum, be what you're going to get paid in a normal job. Ideally, it should far exceed that, which is what we're trying to do, remove the ceiling of our earning potential. So that's absolutely possible. Now, if we're going to go ahead and set some financial goals before we actually crack on with the nitty-gritty of this video, the first financial goal to set would be to exceed, or at the very least match, your 9 to 5 earning potential, which means you're going to want to be bringing in about 2,500 GBP or $4,000 US a month to make it more competitive than going out there and building a normal career at a media company or anything else. You might also get a job in the creative field, but it might just simply be a, more boring job or something you're not that passionate about, or, ultimately something that, ideally there's going to be some tasks you don't fully want to do. There's always going to be things like that. But it might just be more consistent for you. You might like that. Now, other people will like to come over to freelancing because they feel, hey, you know what? I'm actually giving more value to this company than I'm getting. And I believe I just have, bigger value to provide to society, to the market. And you're going to actually leave the 9 to 5 and go set yourself up. Cool. So that's the kind of basic level earning potential. Is you should be doing about, 2,500 to 4,000 US dollars, basically. That's a bare minimum, but ideally we want to get you above $5,000 a month. We're going to back this up by real data from my private members community, Video Production Plus, and many of our students have exceeded and then far exceeded that. We have many mentors inside who are doing, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 a month as well. So we're going to be basing this off of them as well. So we've set some financial goals. Let's actually calculate clients and rates. How much, are you going to really need to do here? How many jobs are you going to need to work? Well, if we're saying you need to, at the very least, make the minimum, but let's actually base it off of what you really want to make, about $5,000 plus a month, what are you going to have to do? Well, you're going to have to do some project hopping pretty extensively, which personally I would advise you do. More realistically, you're going to want to get some retainers. So what does project hopping look like if you are trying to hit $5,000 a month? Well, you're going to have to at least do $5,000 projects or 10 $500 projects. Now, I speak from experience. Jumping all over the place, spreading yourself thin, and project hopping, as I call it, one-off gigs, short-term jobs, is usually not the way to build a consistent income you can rely on, because there's no possible way you and me can do the calculations of who's going to book us 6 months from now. We just don't know. However, if we start building a clientele of retainer clients that are buying a service from us, and usually it's a predictable amount of deliverables, 30 short form, 4 long form, whatever the deliverables are each month, and they're paying us a retainer for it, all of a sudden it's easier to get to those numbers. You could quite easily land 2 clients, both paying a $2,500 retainer, and be at $5,000. And potentially only be outputting, under 100 videos a month, 50 videos, 60 videos, whatever the case may be. I'm assuming some of those are short form as well. And I'm basing this off of, the pricing calculations within my agency, for example. We have single clients who are paying $5,000 a month, and they're getting 4 long-form videos and 30 short-form. Fantastic. That is a retainer that we can do the math on. We can predict that that's going to get paid, and, sure, they still might leave you down the road, right? They still might go in-house. They might say, we're paying too much to the agency, let's bring this in-house. Totally understood. However, it's more predictable. So at a basic calculation, you're probably going to want to move towards retainer clients, and you're likely going to want to be landing 1, 2, 3 retainer clients to be getting to $5,000 a month. You could also have 1 or 2 retainer clients. Let's say you land 1 retainer for $2,500, and you project hop a little bit, and you do a couple one-off jobs, and you make up the other half of your income through project hopping. You've got 1 consistent client retainer, and you got a bunch of kind of one-off gigs that are coming to you through cold outreach or warm leads coming to you, inbound leads. And ultimately, you're doing a little bit of juggling there. But for the most part, I would advise you at least make up your base level income, right? Your replication of what you'd be getting in a full-time job, right? Your 2Gs, your 3Gs, your 4Gs off of a couple retainer clients. And then you boost your income off the back of one-off jobs. What that looked like for me back in the day is I had 2 big YouTubers as my clients. They were the people who were paying my bills, so to speak. I could never go below a couple Gs that they were paying me, but I was able to scale up to over $5,000 a month with the one-off jobs, right? What those looked like for me was my videography endeavors, right? My clubs, my promo videos, my talking head stuff on the internet, my branding, my personal branding, my MSI, my YouTube income, all these kind of things. And we were able to increase our income that way. So 2 key areas that I wanted to draw a line in the sand quickly is your financial goals, what you're trying to actually make, and the math that's going to get you there, retainer clients or individual project hopping. Now, there's also a model that's emerging that I want to talk about called the productized service model. This is a great way I've seen people landing retainer clients, where instead of a retainer, it's a productized service. You're buying a product that's a service. Design Joy revolutionized this model, where he was a graphic designer and he just opened a website where you could just buy unlimited designs for $5,000 a month, but he'd only do 1 of them at a time. So in theory, if it was a small job, it would get done very quickly. If it was a longer job, it would take a little longer. And it was just $5,000 a month. I think he has something like 28 clients, and he's doing over 6 figures a month, $1 million plus a year off his productized service. Also, Alex Oz, who we just had in VP Plus as a guest speaker. He's put together a fantastic productized service where you can actually buy a $2,000 package and you get unlimited videos, Decima Labs, and it's a productized service where you can actually buy the product of a service as a retainer, $2,000 a month, and you kind of, more streamline your video creation process, right? Also, shout out to Kenny C. He's a mentor in VP Plus as well, doing $25,000 a month. He actually has a course in VP Plus teaching you how you can do the same and scale a large agency, and all of his clients are retainers. $9,000 a month Remington client, $2,000 here, $3,000 here, whatever. And that's an income you can really rely on. So that's what we're trying to put together here. And in the following sections, we'll break down how that is a reality for you and how you can actually mimic some of the things that these, goats, these greats who've already done it, take that secret sauce, apply it to your operation, and absolutely dominate and crush and do what we're trying to teach here, which is quitting your 9-to-5 job, which means you need some stability. Those guys have stability. It's what we're talking about. They're case studies here, and making upwards of $5,000 plus a month. Building the skills in the portfolio. Now, we must emphasize as well before we continue that this is absolutely dependent on the skills you have, right? You're selling skills. You're selling skills as a service. Your video editing skills, your video editing skills, you're selling them as a service. So the better those skills are, the more in demand your service will be. Obviously, it is going to be tough to go full-time, quit your job, and build any significant income if you don't have good skills. You're going to want to go brush up the skills, get better, build a portfolio, build a track record, get some skin in the game, get some substance behind the deal you're offering, and then this might be a more feasible thing for you. But I'm not talking to those people. Today I'm talking to the people that have the basic level skills, have a bit of a track record built up, have a bit of a portfolio, have some substance behind the deal they're offering, and are ready to transition into this period. You're probably already making a little bit of cash if you're watching this video. So track record and case studies, aka someone who you've performed the job well for in the past, are good to collect early on, and they will have a calculatable, noticeable effect on how many clients you convert. For me, now that I have a big track record, aka big clients I've worked with that I've produced a good result for, and on top of that, a successful personal brand in the form of my YouTube channel, my social presence on the internet, it is easier to command respect on sales calls with clients because you can show your YouTube channel, you can show the success stories you've driven for other clients, whether that be a revenue goal we've helped them achieve or a number we've helped them achieve in terms of page growth and subscriber growth. It gets a lot easier. So it's literally worth going and doing free work up front for somebody in the essence and with the goal of getting a case study and documenting that success story and then taking that and selling that to the next person. That is absolutely well worth your time, and it will have a noticeable impact on how successful you become in this space. Finding your niche is also a fun one, right? If we're going to talk about specialist versus generalist, right? That good old-fashioned debate about how if you're a generalist, you're always going to be a commodity. There's 100 like you. If you're a specialist, the perfect person to hire for one niche, you're going to be able to, guess what? Command more respect, command more authority, and therefore charge a bigger premium, a larger price, because you have an undeniable track record built up in that lane. Cami C, for example, one of our VP Plus mentors, is an undeniable hire for direct-to-consumer ads. He works with billion-dollar companies, and they hire him to create ads that actually convert into sales, and he is a specialist in that area of content creation. People aren't hiring him to do foodie recipe videos, right? Because he's not a specialist in that area. Now let's talk about landing your first few clients. You might start off as a generalist, project hopping, doing a bunch of this, a bunch of that, but ultimately you're going to want to transition into more of a specialist. You're going to find the niche or the angle or the alleyway that you're the undeniable best fit for, and that you have the best case study for, social proof for, track record for, and that's what you're probably going to bring in the most of your work from. But you might still have some project hopping here and there. So ultimately, you're going to transition from a generalist into more of a specialist. For me, that was landing long-term recurring YouTube clients because I myself was a YouTuber and had loads of experience being a YouTuber. So it was pretty easy to land YouTube clients because I could pretty easily make the case that I was a good hire for creating YouTube content. So that's one thing there. Now, when we talk about landing your first clients and ultimately wiping the dust off and getting the ball rolling, the strategies I would personally go down in terms of, actually client structuring would again be down that similar angle of doing a bit of project hopping here and there to get your toe dipped in the water, to get your feet wet, so to speak. But then the real meat of what you're doing is going to be your long-term recurring clients. So landing my first few clients was on Upwork. It was random jobs. It was me doing work for my first ever client was called Michael Krigsmund, and I got paid $30 an hour for 5 hours work, $150 that day, and that was my introduction to the freelancing game. That was a random business promo video. I think I just had to do a product demo video or something like that. The exact, specifics of the project escaped me. It was just some boring explainer video with text on the screen. And I didn't actually pursue corporate explainer videos that much, but that was my entry into the game. Then I started to get my feet wet with the videography stuff, whether it be random music videos for low-paying rappers or nightclubs or, car promo videos or gyms or other little project hopping stuff. And I eventually settled at long-term recurring YouTube clients. Now, another great way that I was able to build up a good income was through my network. People who would refer me to other people, their cosign made me a easier hire for the client because they were getting a stamp of approval from somebody who already knew me and could co-sign. Graphic designers and filmmakers were great relationships. They fed a lot of clients to me. However, video production plus my private members community actually is a fantastic, amazing place where so many of our students end up networking with each other and benefiting from the collective information that the other students have and the knowledge and training that we have, and go on to land clients through a network. So I'd advise also paying to get into networks. You could join VP Plus, you could join others. It's a very low-cost entry into getting access to a bunch of other professionals who are in the same industry as you, who you could build relationships with, who again could be source of recommendations. Shout out to MDEX. One of our VP Plus students said, "Good news, guys, I just landed a new client. When I joined this community, I didn't have any clients. Now I have 6 clients. That's so good for me now, and in the future, I'm looking to double that." Absolutely crushed it. So he took advantage of a network and ultimately crushed. But real quickly, while we're on the topic of VP Plus, you might actually be watching this video with a bit of skepticism and thinking, "Jack, I can't get to 5K a month. It's impossible. It's too hard. I'd have to do too much work." Maybe you're stuck around $2,000 a month. You're making a couple G's, and you just feel as though you can't really get past that point. Now, because of this, you're getting disheartened, and you think, is freelancing, really worth it? Maybe I can make this a side hustle, but is it really going to be a long-term recurring client? Now, 17-year-old Ja, a member of our Video Production Plus community, was also stuck at $2,000 a month. In fact, someone asked him in VP Plus, they said, "Ja, how much were you making before VP Plus?" He said, "Listen, 2K max Now I do over $8,000 a month. He joined VP Plus, watched all the courses, benefited from the lessons, turned up to the live sessions, got mentorship, and benefited from the collective hive mind of VP Plus. And in his own words, he's now doing $8,000 plus a month, 6 figures annually, at only 17 years old. Absolutely crushed it. I highly encourage you at the halfway point of this video to come join VP Plus. It might sound like a self-serving shill, and to a certain extent it kind of is, but also I wouldn't be showing it to you if it wasn't a good deal. 35 bucks a month, it's worth a try. Maybe you only join us for a month, maybe you don't get value, you're down 35 bucks. That's the worst case that can happen to you. The best case is that you end up like Joe, and you 4x your income. You go from $2K a month, where you may be stuck right now, to $8,000 plus a month, a 6-figure a year salaries, killing me at 17. I wasn't doing those numbers at 17. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't anywhere near those numbers at 17. So I would have joined VP Plus back in the day because it's just a bit of a glitch of the matrix and a bit of a hack. But anyways, back to the video. Scaling beyond $5,000 a month. If we say that everything we've talked about up until now can get you to 5K a month, you can go from your 2 to your 3 to your 4 to your 5K a month. Amazing. How do we scale beyond that, right? If we're going to talk about actually getting a agency on the go or getting a 5-figure a month salary, $10,000 plus, making some real significant cash out here, right, for anybody in the world, but definitely for UK, America, $10,000 plus a month, you're doing pretty good. You ain't doing bad. You go to somewhere else, Southeast Asia, etc., you're killing it, right? So definitely a good income. What has led people to crush in VP Plus and all over the internet and be able to make 5 figures plus a month, over 5,000, right? 5,000 as a minimum, right? Scaling past there. Well, you're going to need to hire some subcontractors. You're also going to need to kind of formulate more of a team, which is the subcontractors not just being random people that you're outsourcing to willy-nilly here and there, but actually building kind of a Rolodex of trusted freelancers who are below you that you can outsource work to. Also, increasing rates as your portfolio grows. It actually gets easier to increase your rates if you're in demand. So if I, Jack Cole, have nobody knocking on the door asking to hire me, if someone does ring the doorbell and say they've got 50 quid for me, I just take it because there's no better deal on the table. Now, if I, Jack Cole, am in demand, I'm making thousands a month, and someone comes to me and they don't have the budget that I need, I don't actually have to take that because I'm already in demand and my bills are paid. I've already got cash coming in, and I actually hold the leverage. I can say no. Say what you want about Trump, but he has a great quote in the Art of the Deal. The person who's most willing to say no always has the leverage, right? If you need the work, you have to say yes. All of a sudden, one day you wake up, you're in demand, you don't need the work, you can say no, you can command your rate. So wait till that point happens, because then it becomes very easy to actually increase your rates. And also, potentially, you can move into expanding related services and building more of an offer. So, for example, I used to just be an editor as a commodity. I would just offer video editing services. Cool, whatever. Then all of a sudden, I built an agency, and I built an offer, and I built a package. And my offer serves 7-figure entrepreneurs who don't have much time. The sell for them is a complete package. I myself, as a YouTuber, Jack Cole, I'm able to say, I've already figured out content for myself and my other clients. Why don't you outsource your content strategy to me? We'll do the ideation. We'll figure out the winning topics. We'll script the videos. We will, edit the videos. We'll even have a virtual assistant posting those videos for you. All you have to do as our client, who's a 7-figure entrepreneur with ideally not a lot of time on their hands, that's our profile, is sit down and record some content once a week. Easy peasy. You could even do it once a month if you want to sit down for a mega session. And we really streamline that process. So ultimately, you move on to establishing more of a depth to your offer, and it actually turns into less of a commodity and more of a package and an offer, and then you can command even higher rates. Incredible. We already talked about how Cami C is the go-to guy for direct-to-consumer ads that convert a viewer into a customer. That's his lane, that's his niche, and obviously he's a specialist in that. He commands a higher rate. That's how he's got big companies like Remington, billion-dollar brands, paying him $9,000 a month. He does that because he is a specialist, and he has a package that he's supplying to them. So a general overview right there. If we look to break it down, right, my first year of trading, I filed $20,000 in taxes for the entire year. About 5 years in, I was having months where I was making $20,000 in a single month. So that's the difference between a commodity, someone who's project hopping, jumping around the place, and someone who's built a package and is more of a specialist. And hey, this is the freelancing game. So there's always going to be a bit of income variety. 1 month, you're making 15 G's, the next it was 16, the next it was 19, the next it dropped to 11 because you got dropped by somebody, right? They took content in-house. It's happened to us before. We've had long-term clients who've been on the payroll paying nice retainers, $5,000 retainers for, 8 months. All of a sudden they decide, you know what, we're taking this in-house, and they build a team in-house. Things happen. It is what it is. There's always going to be income variability in the freelance game, but that's part of the fun of it. there's no ceiling and there's no floor. You could really make 6-7 figures. You could also make absolutely diddly squat nothing, because that's just the game out here. You're self-employed. You're an entrepreneur. Welcome, right? It could be a little crazy. So real quick, let's run through and review what you've learned in this video, and then I'll jump off your screen and you can go implement everything we've talked about today. So a general overview, we're transitioning from a traditional 9-to-5 job to making over $5,000 plus a month video editing. There is significant market demand for video editors, which means you're in luck, right? What you're trying to offer has a lot of demand, but I'll be honest, there is a lot of supply as well. There's a lot of people trying to do this because the barrier of entry is small. A lot of people know how to edit, especially with, the kids having media classes and it being more prominent than ever, right? Ultimately, if we look at the numbers you're trying to hit, it's nothing actually too astronomical. The average salary you could expect in a normal job is about 2.5 thousand GBP, 4,000 USD a month. You could argue that's actually above average salary for some people because there's a lot of people who are not even getting that, right? So ultimately, that's what you could get at a job. If you come over to freelancing, you are increasing your potential, right, for earning potential. There's no ceiling, but there's also no floor. So that's good for some people. That's really scary for others. The monthly target here is to make $5,000 a month. To do that, we're going to need to do at least 10 project hops, $500 a pop, which I wouldn't advise. And we're going to have at least 2 $2,500 retainers or 5 $1,000 retainers. Now, there's other things you could do, like doing a combination of both. We talked about Decima Labs by Alex. We've also talked about Cami. They've got some retainers. Sometimes they got some project hopping stuff as well. The combination is what makes them their income. But that's a little bit of a breakdown of the math. Skills and portfolio overview. The better your skills, the more in demand you're going to be, the easier it's going to be to sell those skills. And being a specialist versus a generalist is always going to command a higher rate. And it's something you should be looking to move in the direction of as quick as you possibly can. That right there is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I would highly encourage you to come join VP Plus. It's a very low-cost way to get access to a network of loads of other people that are doing what you're trying to do and doing it pretty damn well and benefiting from the collective hive mind of VP Plus, just like the 17-year-old killer Ja did, and many more people have, Nico, etc. People I've talked about to long extents here on this channel, so I won't waste your time. So join VP Plus down below, and with that being said, I'm going to direct you to this video right here. Head over to the video, watch it, enjoy it. I'll see you there. 3, 2, 1, see you in that video.